I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways to get students to annotate on text using some free tools. So the first thing that I want you to consider when you're having students do this, if they're highlighting and typing text and adding comments, not so much of a big deal. But if you actually want them to write words, if they're circling, it's going to be okay. But writing words and questions and things like that, you have to remember that the students are on a trackpad. So they're working with their fingers on the trackpad or a mouse to write words. And that can get very frustrating. So whatever assignment you're going to get the kids to do, make sure that you try it out first. Make sure that you're comfortable with it, and it's not something that's going to easily frustrate the kids. The other thing to remember, if you can, is try it on a Chromebook, because it is very different on a laptop versus a Chromebook, because they have those smaller screens to work with. So just always kind of keep that in the back of your mind when you're assigning this kind of work to students. If you want them handwriting words or sentences or working out problems, that's always something you want to consider, is that the kids are mostly working on trackpads. I do have an option for you for phones that you guys are going to be able to see. Okay, so your first option, of course, is Google Slides. You can copy and paste text in here. There's also where you can bring in images if you need to screenshot something, like maybe a sample of student work or something like that. Then you can go in and you can upload that from your computer, or you can take a picture with the camera and do it that way. But what I did here is I just copy and pasted it in here and just added a few things on here. So if the students are working with regular text, then they can just go in, they can click their highlighter tool, they're good to go, right? They can go in here, highlight their text. They can also add comments when they highlight. So they can come over here and then they can say, like, any notes that you want them to say. And this is great if you have students working collaboratively. Over here, you can have them add notes this way too. Over here, you'll notice the line tool. Click on the little down arrow, and there's an option here for scribble. So what students can do is they could go over here and they can circle and highlight things. Okay, they can change the color of it if they want to. They can change the thickness right over here. So they'll be able to do that right there. Now what happens here is if they are writing a letter and they release, it highlights it. So they have to go back to scribble in order to write the next letter. So you can imagine doing this letter by letter, circling, putting stars by things. That's not a problem, but writing words could get a little difficult for your students. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, this is another solid option that I think is great for you guys. It's whiteboard.chat. Depending on how you need to bring in an image, if you're taking a photo of it or if you want to upload a file, we can go in here and let's say this is the PDF that we want to use. And we go ahead and open it up. Okay, and this is ready to go. So you go and you click invite, and then you would give students this link. This is what you would post in Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that really quick so you can see what happens when students click on this link. All right, so you'll see that a student has joined in, and then what you could do is as multiple students come in, you can go into grid view, and then you'll be able to see what students are working on. So the student here, if they are writing or annotating something on here. Student here can annotate or write. Again, remember the whole trackpad thing, but they could go in here, they can write things. There's also a lot more you can do with this, with like adding manipulatives and different things like that. But for what you guys are looking for, students can write, annotate on here, and then as a teacher you can go in and you can see what each student is doing. So I could jump in to their board and I can help them with something if they're needing any help or assistance, and the students will see it on their side too. This is a really simple one to use because all you do is hit that invite and then have them drop in, and then when you need to go back to assignments, you can just click here and then you'll see each of your students right there. You can go into the main assignment if you need to, and then go back into the grid view and you'll see all your students that have joined and what they've done. This is a really simple one to use if you're interested in this one. The other option for you is to use the free version of Kami. Students are going to have to install Kami from Chrome, so it's very easy to do. We just send them the link and then add to Chrome, and then they're good to go. Now, what you will do as a teacher is you'll create an assignment. Now notice I have this right now because right now when you first sign up with Kami, you have all the bells and whistles. We are going to take it like those 60 days are up and we are on the free version now with the kids. So you'll create an assignment, and then your assignment, title it as you normally would, give your directions, everything. But when you add your file, you want to add it as a PDF. So we'll go into Google Drive and we're going to look for the PDF. Okay, so if I want the students to actually use like the Google features, like I'm wanting them to do that, then I would normally grab my Google slide and I'd put that in there. But for this instance, because I'm showing you guys how to open it with Kami and use the Kami tools, we need a PDF in here. So if you do not have a PDF and you have it in a Google slide, you can go over here and you can download it as a PDF and add it that way if you need to, or even if you have Word or anything like that. But we need that PDF copy in here. And the reason why is because we're going to make a copy for each student. And then what happens is, this is a different document, but I'm going to show you because this is one where I'm a student. Whenever you make a copy for each student and that document is a PDF, when I click it, I get this option right here. Now you're going to see this here because, again, all the bells and whistles in the beginning. But students will go to Open With and they'll annotate with Kami right here. So they'll go in and then they're going to have the markup feature where they can go in and highlight. They have a box highlighter where they can box it all out. They can type in comments as well. They can add text all in here. In the beginning, again, you have all these options to add different things on here. So you'll have that. So when they go in and they are done editing, what they need to do is go back to their assignment and then click Turn In, and then you will see all of their edits and annotations in their document. If they have phones with the app, whenever they go into Google Classroom and open up either a PDF, a slide, a doc, any of those things, when they go in, they're going to see that option right here with the little pencil. And so if they tap on the pencil, what it does is it opens up the document so that they can annotate and write on it. So students can go in here, highlight, underline, do whatever they need. If you need them to highlight something, they can tap, and they can tap to reveal even more if they need to. They also have an eraser, pencil. They can type in text, so they can go in here and type notes, things like that. But it's a very simple annotator and a very simple text editor that they can go in there and use. If they need to zoom in for any reason, they can zoom in by clicking on that option there, and they can move around and finish that way. When they're done, the very important thing is to tell them to hit save. And what it'll do is it'll save the document as a PDF. So then when they turn that into you, and I'll show you right here what that looks like. So what happens, it has the edited version right here, so they can tap it, and then there are the notes. And what's very cool about this, which is something that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in the coming weeks, is that you on your iPad can also do this. So you can go in and you can annotate on top of their document and grade just like how you are used to grading. So you can go in here, type your notes, write your comments, do all of that with your pencil, what you're normally used to doing, grading, highlighting, whatever it might be, then hit save. And that just goes in and adds to the attachment. So when students go in to click it, they'll see your notes and annotations on top as well. So that's one very quick and simple way to get students to annotate, is if they have the app installed on their phones.